if Clay and Steph are both doing that, you know you ain't winning no game. Jordan Poole, obviously, learning from those two, he can come up in the game and get some points. Obviously, Draymond, everyone knows what Draymond's about. He normally starts the offense.
Technicals and fouls, man. Get out of here, man.
Yeah,
old man,
quiet.
river,
Bruv,
man.
listen, defensive juggernaut, bro.
Hurry up over time, man, and go to TNT, man, and
Jason
join
Tatum
Shaq
and
and them
Jaylen Brown.
guys, man.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown ain't coming
Tatum.
against anyone against like Draymond. Draymond's that.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Yes, people, another edition of Nights of the Round Table Discussions where we discuss all sports all the time. Got my guy, Mr. KA, in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Just had a exciting NBA finals, and now I'm ready for the conference finals. Now I'm ready for the main event.
No, it's been nuts. It's been absolutely nuts, and we're going to get into that, people. Dive straight into that. But obviously, it's Mr. K. Unfortunately, the truth couldn't be here. For whatever reason, he's not here. But nevertheless, you're still going to get such good content. It's time for NBA Talk. NBA Talk was back. I told you it would be a short stint before, instead of a long stint that we normally have where we don't have any NBA Talk, but the finals are upon us. So we're going to be going through, looking at both teams in the finals, talk about the conference finals and everything else to do with the NBA. But as usual, before we start, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, get the subscriptions up, all that good stuff. And I say all the time, share. We are here. And don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. So conference finals are complete. Had the Golden State Warriors against the Dallas Mavs, finished 4-1. And then we had the epic conference final in the East between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat, which finished 4-3 to the Celtics. So we will be looking at the Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. Mr. K.A., obviously, the most epic conference finals was Celtics and Heat, went back and forth. Absolute madness. No one knew which way it was going to go. You wrongly predicted that it will be a sweep. You said it with chest.
I said 6.
Then
and
he said,
one game out.
No,
game
people, don't listen.
Go back and watch.
The tapes
who,
are there.
Yeah, go back and watch and let us know that I was right.
KA said sweep. Then he said gentleman sweep. You said a 4-1, 5 games. Then it changed.
I know I didn't say
6 games.
I know I didn't say sweep. I said I want to say 5, but I'm gonna say 6.
Either way, people, he made it look as though the Miami Heat were just relegation fodder and they weren't gonna challenge the Boston Celtics, and it wasn't the case. Miami Heat did very well.
Did they really? I'm joking, bro. I'm joking. Come on, we're gonna get into it, but I'm messing.
Yeah, and pushed them all 7 games. But Kay, obviously, we saw. Obviously, you had a lot of confidence in the Boston Celtics getting through this. I rightly predicted 7 games, and it did go to that because I thought both teams were evenly matched. I thought it was going to be defensive masterclass from both teams. Just give us your perspective. What did you think about the finals as a whole? We're not really going to talk about the Western because that was a straight foregone conclusion. But this game between Boston and the Heat, how good was this conference finals compared to others of recent year?
What was good about it was that it was competitive and it was a good representation of the East. They've been coming up last few years, making a name for themselves, making a statement that it's not just all about the West as it was about 4, 5, 6 years ago. So the East, they put on a good showing for the NBA, showing that they're a conference with star teams, star lineups, and it's been coming a couple of years, and it was a competitive game. I was happy with how it went in the turnout, and it wasn't just like a blowout. So I just want to be happy it went 7 games because Golden State have got more of a rest time. But as fans, we enjoyed it. How about you?
No, 100% enjoyed it. I think that it was a back and forth series. I mean, we always want competitive basketball. The last thing you want, unless it's your team, the last thing you want is a sweep, because it's just boring. I think Miami Heat put everything on the line. Obviously, in game one, Celtics had their own adversity, obviously missing Al Horford and Marcus Smart for game one. Tyler Hero getting it hurt for Miami Heat. So both teams had things to deal with, but I think that just made for a more competitive series. I did think that it was going to go 6 when the Celtics when the Celtics beat. No. When the Celtics
making the ass come out of me, bro.
When the Celtics beat the Heat in Miami and made it 3-2, I did think they would win it on home court in game 6. But Jimmy Buckets just absolutely balled out in that game and pulled it back. And then game 7, the Celtics came and they did what they needed to do. But it's okay for you. Obviously, it was a series that was touted Jimmy Butler versus Jason Tatum. We've seen Jason Tatum in the playoffs come of age against the Bucks. We saw it, and now we've seen it against the Miami Heat, and it all came to pass as he won. Is this a new thing where they're giving conference final MVP?
Yeah. It just started this year. It was the first one.
Yeah. So obviously he's got the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. For you, how much have you enjoyed? I know Jaylen. We can talk about Jaylen Brown, obviously, because obviously he's a star as well. But Jason Tatum leading this team. How have you perceived his rise and him getting through the playoffs and now into the NBA Finals?
No, I think it's been a good coming of age for him. He's stepped up finally. Well, I don't want to say finally because that sounds harsh, but yeah, he's kind of, we've seen him grow in these playoffs. We've seen him lead the Celtics team to beat the 3 teams that have taken him out in the last 3 seasons: Nets, Bucks, and now Heat. So they've overcome some demons, and like he's become a better leader. And there's games where he went back to old Tatum where he wasn't putting back-to-back performances where they needed him to, but he dug deep and he led the team and did what he needed to do.
No, 100%. And the numbers speak for themselves when it comes to Jason Tatum. They're crazy numbers. And I think I think in his speech where he won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, I think in game 7, he was wearing the Kobe armband.
Yeah.
And obviously paying homage to Kobe because we know that it's his favorite player. We know he based his basketball on Kobe, and obviously the Mamba mentality that everyone goes to in a game 7. That's what he drew on to try and get the Boston Celtics through. In terms of the coach, right? We know who was the coach before him. I really can't remember his name.
We had the same conversation last time.
I can't remember the former coach's name. I can't remember this coach's name.
This coach is Ima Ukoka. I hope I'm saying his name properly. He was a former he was on the, what's it called? Oh my god, why is their name blanking? San Antonio Spurs coach.
Yeah, he was coaching. He was under Pop, in it.
Yeah, he was an assistant, and I gave an opportunity. And now the name of the Celtics manager has got coach has gone out of my head, but he's now gone into the he's now become the GM, and Ima, I think it's Ima, has come in as the head coach. So they had a shake up in, like, well, say as we would call it, boardroom. I don't know how the management, they had a shake up in management.
Yeah, no, 100%. But how much credit does he deserve? Obviously, it's his first season with the Celtics. I know they've always been a good team, but they seem to have been the nearly men. How much credit does he deserve in getting the Boston Celtics into the conference finals in his first season?
He deserves a lot of credit because Ime Udoka, that's Ime Udoka, that's it. I've just Googled his name. Nigerian, African American, so representing for Africa. And another black coach. I know maybe he's doing it for Pop as well, though. The black coaches that have to step up, but like, no, he deserves a lot of praise. He deserves his flowers. We can't give him too much accolades. Can't put him up because they haven't finished the job yet.
They haven't finished the job.
There's a lot to do. But in his first season, we can sort of like give him credit for what he's done so far, and that's fact right now. And he's got them into the NBA Finals. The Celtics started off the season really bad, and then they made a decision to play as it's been documented that they had a big team meeting. A lot of things were said in public about, oh, should we break up the team? They've been together for Jaylen Brown and Tatum been together for about 3-4 years now. They haven't got to the finals, but he came in. Smart came out and said some things in public. I think they must have had like an airing out session or something. Everyone got everything off their chest, and they said, we either going to do this or this is the last season. And they decided to get together as a team. They kind of redefined their strategy, became a bit more defensively better, and they've made it to the finals. They got into the playoffs. A lot of TV people didn't think they will get to the playoffs. Got to the playoffs, and they faced a hard route, as Americans would say, to the finals. Nets, Bucks, former champions, and now Heat, who got to the finals a couple of years ago in the bubble. So they did really well. Ema, he deserves all his credit, but the job's not done, so they still have to focus.
Nah, 100%. I can't disagree with you at all. As I said, he can get some flowers, but obviously the job's not done yet. He's got one more step to go. But this is a step in the right direction for the Boston Celtics to be in the NBA Finals. If I'm not mistaken, is this the first one since the finals against the Lakers for them?
I
I
wouldn't know. But it's been the first finals in a while.
Yeah, I think it is. I think
they keep coming short in the conference finals. Like whenever they make it, they don't get out of the conference finals.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I'm sure this is the first one since 2009 that they're making the NBA Finals. People in the chat, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's just me just going off the top of my head. So he does deserve credit for getting them there. But obviously the job's only half done, and they'll be looking to do the full job. Quickly, KA on the Miami Heat. Obviously, they've fallen short. What happened? Is it a case of Jimmy Butler just didn't get enough help, or did the Miami Heat miss a trick especially I think it was in games 4 and 5, if I'm not mistaken? Did they miss a trick, or is it just a case of a Luka Doncic situation, but not as extreme, where Jimmy Butler just didn't have enough help to try and get him past the Boston Celtics?
It's a bit of both, because Celtics didn't play a perfect game. They didn't have a perfect series. I don't think they won one game at home. A lot of it was on the road, so they're still not together in terms of putting the perfect series. In so many of the games, Heat had chances to win the game. We saw it in Game 7. They made countless runs. Celtics have got up by 20 in different games, and then they will then sort of like either beat themselves up by just all the turnovers and the missed shots, or Heat will step it up. And we saw, especially in Game 7, they could have won. They could have snatched it, but at the same time, Heat, even though they've got a good coach in Eric Spoelstra, they needed more from the rest of the players, man. Butler, he couldn't do it himself. He tried over 6 games. He managed to get them to the 7th game, and he had to play the full game, beginning to end, 48 minutes, and it still wasn't enough. So on a bad knee as well, they injured in like game 2 or 3. So it wasn't enough, and I think he just needed help, because no one else put in solid performances over the series. You can refer back to a couple of moments where Bam gave you 30 in one game.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry gave you a little bit something, or even Oladipo gave you a little bit something in one game as well. But this is a 7-game series. Like, one player can't do it himself. And I said it in a group chat, didn't I? I was like, when what game did they win? And then you guys were like, oh, that's when you first started teasing.
I think it was game 3 or 4. I think that's when Bam, because I think Butler got hurt.
Oh, what game?
I think Butler got hurt and
he left and he came.
And I think Bam took over the game. I think it was game 3 or 4.
I think it was game 3, and that's when he got 31. And then so and then that's when I was like, okay, I underestimated the Butler's fight and spirit as leadership. But I said it, it can only get you so far. It can only get you so far. And if they got to the finals, guess what? I would have said with my chest, Warriors in 4.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Four. Oh, that's 3, 4. Shame.
This
Um,
guy, bro.
But yeah, that's it. It's just they just needed more help. So I think he's there next season, and then the management, GM, head coach, they need to sit together and see how they can get him some help. Maybe find something in free agency, because I don't know.
I think they're looking at Bradley Beal.
We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if he's enough, to be honest, because they might need a couple more, because I don't know. I just don't trust them as a team, because them two together, I don't know if they're enough as a duo.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Look,
too many players didn't show up really. Even Tucker, who won with who was such a important piece with the Bucks.
For the Bucks, yeah.
And it just shows you how much importance there is in systems when it comes to basketball as well. Because he had a good season, but in the finals, he wasn't that effective at all.
No, he wasn't. And as I said, obviously Tyler Hero getting hurt didn't help. But you had Oladipo was very disappointing in this series, considering that he is a very good player. He should be doing better, especially coming off the bench. Should be doing a lot better. I know Kyle Lowry was in and out of this series, but as a leader and someone that's already won a chip, he should have done better. And we expected more from Bam as well. But ultimately, it just wasn't enough. And Jimmy Butler did everything he could. Obviously, played every minute of game. So, what did you think about? Obviously, I think it was 16 seconds left. Miami Heat brought the ball up. I think it was at the point it was night. Yeah. What is it? Because I think I saw something about Stephen A saying the reason why he didn't go for the 2 is because he didn't want to go into extra overtime because he was shattered. But do you have an issue with him taking that shot, or do you say to him, look, bite the bullet, get the 2, and go to overtime? Now, which side of the fence are you on in that aspect?
Well, I don't think I didn't hear that Stephen A take, but I think that's a bit of a nonsense take. I think he wanted to win the game. He wanted to have that Kobe MJ moment, like the way he took the shot and he was just like had his hand up. He kept that pose for the cameras. He wanted to win the game.
Was that tiredness?
It was a bit tired because I don't think it was a good shot. I think it was a bit wild. I think he didn't set himself. He was kind of like leaning forward. I think he had a bit more time than he thought. And I haven't seen him play too many times to run it back, but it reminded me of when I was listening to some things about the game, and they were talking about, are you happy with that shot or not? Some people will say he's the leader. You live and die by it. If he takes a shot and he misses, it is what it is. If he wins, everyone's going to be like, yay, that's what he should have taken that shot. He's the guy. But it takes me back to when people harp on about LeBron and kind of get onto him and saying he's not clutch, doesn't take shots at big moments. But I think what makes LeBron great, and we're not going into the great debate or the GOAT and all that, yeah. But what makes him great is that his basketball IQ, and that in dying moments, he gets the ball to the right person. He makes the right plays. And that person is usually a better shooter in clutch moments, arguably, and he makes the shot, and that's why he is where he is in his career. So I do think, without seeing the replay a few times, I do think Butler may have had a bit of time to make the right decision. Because he had a lot of space.
There was a lot of space and a lot of time. I think
he could have gone for sorry, go on.
Yeah, I think there was quite a bit of time left on the shot clock as well. I know it's 16 seconds left in the game, but he could have slowed it. There's a lot that could have been done. I personally think he was just tired and he just said, you know what?
It was a tired shot. It was a bit wild.
Forget this. I'm hitting hope, and we'll
I don't think
pray.
he went thinking. I think
he just take the wheel. That's what it was.
No, I don't think so. I think he wanted to win the game because I saw someone say as well. Actually, he could have driven for a dunk.
Yeah,
and he would have likely got the and one.
Yeah,
and that would have won the game. And he's a good free throw shooter.
This is it. I just it's tiredness. I just think he was tired, man. Just said, yep, here we go.
I don't know.
Jesus, take the wheel, please.
After playing 48 minutes, yeah, to throw up a Hail Mary.
But, it's nuts. It's nuts.
He
But
needed more. He just needed more help
yeah, they
from
they
players,
did.
man.
They did, and unfortunately, he couldn't get through. And yeah, it is what it is. They go back to the drawing board, looking, as I said, looking at Bradley Beal, looking at other pieces to bring in. Because then, listen, the one thing, and you said it earlier on, the East is the gap between the West and the East is so small now in terms of talent and teams and the way in which they play and the depth that each teams have. So the East is always going to be. I think we even said it. I think the East is more difficult than the West now, in terms of the amount of teams that have like just great players on their squad. So the Miami Heat, unfortunately, they just couldn't get through. Boston Celtics, all the credit in the world, and obviously the run that they went through. Brooklyn Nets with KD and Kyrie. The Bucks, obviously, Bucks didn't have Chris Middleton, but obviously against Giannis. And then Miami Heat with Jimmy Buckets and Bam and all them guys, like they've done it the hard way and they've gotten through. So credit to them. Okay, when we move over to the West, more straightforward. Obviously, we had the Mavs and Golden State. 4-1. Nothing that we didn't really expect. Actually, that's a lie. Because you said, see, people, this is why you don't listen to KA, yeah? Bear in mind, hold on, wait. Bear in mind, Golden State is his pick, yeah, in the raffle, yeah? But he's paid no attention to them whatsoever.
Because I had a gun to my head on that pick, man. I was like, all right, cool, I'll pick whatever.
But yet still they're in the NBA Finals, right? But look, you said that this was going to be even more difficult than the East. But Golden State just made it look so easy. 4-1 victory. I think they just gave the Mavs a game just to make it a gentleman's sweep, obviously, so Luka could get his flowers. In terms of Golden State, as I said, straightforward through to the finals. Steph getting the conference finals MVP. We're not really going to talk about the series because it's a non-starter. And we'll talk about more about Golden State when we talk about the finals. But I just wanted to ask you about the Mavs and Luka. Obviously, Luka doing Luka, getting his points. What do you think about people saying that Luka needs to get in better shape? There's reports coming out that people saying if Luka was in better shape, they would have stood more of a chance of beating the Warriors. Do you concur with that, or do you just think it's absolute nonsense? Considering the juggernaut that they're coming up, which is Golden State Warriors.
To be honest, I haven't seen any of these reports. As you said, it's a bit of a non-starter. I don't really pay attention much to the Western Conference in terms of just outside of the game and all the narratives and the storylines and stuff like that. So this is actually news to me. I didn't even know Steph won the conference. I think I stopped watching at like maybe 2-3 minutes left. I went to bed. So I was like, I didn't even know he had won it, until you just said it. But I don't know. I think Luka, his conditioning, his looks seems okay. He could possibly obviously get into better shape. It doesn't seem as cut as some of the other guys. But I think it's just more down to, again, similar with Butler. He needs better people around him, I think, that can do it more consistently.
Does he need to leave the Mavs? Does he need to leave the Mavs and go elsewhere? I mean, I know I'm begging for him to come to the Lakers, but does he need to leave? Or because you wouldn't say Dallas Mavs is a destination that people want to go to. So does Luka need to say, you know what, I've done everything I can with the Mavericks. It's time to go now and join another team. Not necessarily create a super team, but just go with another star. So I mean, like when we get rid of LeBron and AD is there, like obviously Luka could come to us and along with Jar as well, and we can do a thing. But say for example, all right, let me just give you an example. Like say Jamal Murray doesn't come back for another season. If Luka and Jokic, something like that, would that be more feasible?
I don't know. Well, it'll definitely work. They'll get together a nice big man, small man combination, nice duo going, and then they would actually make waves in the West. But it's hard to see Luka leaving because they'll give him the keys to the city, and he looks comfortable, to be honest. So it's hard to see him leaving. It would have to
And
be
how old is he? He's 25.
He's still young. I don't even know how old he is.
I think he's still young, so he's still got time. So he could
23 years old.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time. At the Mavs.
He's still not even in his prime yet. So I think I don't see. I think obviously journalists, they look for things to say just to create the headlines. So I don't think there's much in these reports.
Oh, fair enough. And listen, the Mavs did well. I mean, who did they beat to get to the conference final? Okay, refresh my memory. I genuinely cannot remember. Well, it wasn't the Jazz. Who was it? Jesus, this is gonna Suns.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Suns. So obviously,
how can we let that slip our mind?
How can we forget that? Yeah.
CP3. Oh my goodness. 2-0.
But obviously, look, they beat the Suns, got into the conference finals. First time since they won the chip back in 2000 and is it 10 or 11? One of those two. So yeah, he's got them stepping in the right direction. If they could add a couple more pieces, maybe Luka could do something in the West, but the way how the rest is right now, I don't see it happening. So I do think he genuinely needs to leave. But listen, credit to the Mavs. They got this far. It is what it is. But KA, now we are looking at the NBA Finals. Golden State Warriors versus the Boston Celtics. In your opinion, I think the first game will be Thursday morning for us, I think, and Wednesday night for the US. In your opinion, where do you see this going? I don't want numbers. I don't want, it's going to be this. We'll leave how many games it goes to in the end. But for you, who has the advantage? Is it Golden State or is it the Boston Celtics? Who do you see winning this series?
Well, I think Golden State have the advantage. I remember I said in our last NBA video, I was talking about the Suns and I said that how they've been there, done it all, and seen it all. And I didn't clarify that properly. And when I meant that they've gotten to the finals, so they've had that full experience. And obviously they lost, but they've had that full experience of getting to the finals. But the difference with Warriors, they've been to the finals many times and they've won, so they know they've got that experience of that championship, what it takes to win a championship. So I think they have the edge on that with a lot of these players, it being their first time in the NBA Finals. The first game is going to be a bit of a shock to them in terms of like they're gonna just maybe the pacing, just maybe like the nerves. It's gonna take. They're gonna have to settle in and like no, okay, they're gonna have it. This is the NBA. Welcome to the NBA Finals moment. That's what the phrase I'm looking for. So once they have that and they settle down, make the right adjustments, and this is when the coaching comes into it and getting them prepared. But then this is he's also a new first time coach.
And Steve Kerr has obviously been there and done it.
And so we know Udoka, he's been there with Pop, but it's a different ball game. When you're an assistant, there's like 3-4 assistants, then one head coach. So yeah, man. So I think Celtics have a bit to overcome in the first game. Warriors have the experience and the know-how. They've got that core of Green, Clay, and Steph, who were there throughout all the championships with Steve Kerr. So they've got that edge. But you know, I'm sticking with my Celtics. I'm sticking with my green and white. They're gonna do it. Well, do you know what? I need more from Jaylen Brown. I think he has slightly been carried a bit with Tatum and the team, where he's kind of hidden a little bit, even though he's put in some okay performances. But as a number two, as one of the names on the ticket, on the headline, you need to put in some like performances that are on par or even better than Tatum. When Tatum doesn't have his good games and he's not hitting 30, Jaylen, you need to be hitting 30. You need to be up there with the steals and the assists. Affect the game, man. We need more from you. And oh my days, Marcus, did you see the game, the highlights? Marcus Smart. This guy literally tried to shoot his way out of a championship. I was watching the game. I was just like, I had every shot. I had my hands on my head. I'm like, this guy is literally trying to throw away the game.
Oh no. No.
Literally, I never sit in our group, but I sit in another NBA group that I'm in. I was like, this guy is about to lose the Celtics, the finals.
And he nearly did. That's the biggest joke.
He nearly lost us. I couldn't believe my eyes. He needs to, another one needs to learn how to make the right plays. Stop throwing up these wild shots, man. Okay, if you're wide open, you know you're an NBA player. You can make these shots, but make the right plays, man. You've got to make, because Golden State, they will punish you because they're more talented than the Heat, so they will punish you. And so it's to lessen the turnovers. Once they did that in the game against the Heat, they were guaranteed wins. But the turnovers, the bad shots, let the Heat back in. You will get punished by the Golden State, man. So they need to, so they need to figure it out, put a good game together, and they're gonna take the crown home, bring it back to Boston strong. Let's go.
Listen, you do not believe that. I can hear it in your voice.
Let's go.
You do
Boston
not believe
strong.
Listen. Right. Don't get me wrong. I think out of all the teams in the East, this is the worst thing that the Golden State Warriors could have come up against with Boston Celtics. Obviously, best defensive team in the league. Obviously, they know how to defend. They know how to defend. I mean, we've seen these guys contain so many beasts. As I said, KD, Kyrie, Giannis, and obviously Jimmy Butler in the Miami Heat. So the Celtics do have an opportunity to win here, but they are coming up against the experience and let's put this out there, and all these teams that I've named in the East, none of them can shoot like the Golden State Warriors. And it's how the perimeter how are they going to deal with Steph when Steph just decided, you know what, I'm going to pull up from half court and get dirty? How are they gonna stop Clay if Clay gets hot? Clay got hot in the last game against the Dallas Mavericks and got 32. That's the Clay you don't want to see, because if Clay and Steph are both doing that, you know you ain't winning no game. Jordan Poole, obviously, learning from those two, he can come up in the game and get some points. Obviously, Draymond, everyone knows what Draymond's about. He normally starts the offense.
Technicals and fouls, man. Get out of here, man.
Yeah,
old man, river, man.
Listen, defensive juggernaut, bro.
Hurry up and retire, man, and go to TNT, man, and
Jason
join
Tatum
Shaq and them guys, man.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown ain't coming against anyone against like Draymond. Draymond's that guy. Obviously, they're gonna miss Wiseman. I think that Iggy is gonna go game by game. He might feature. I know he's like 76 years old, but KA, having Iggy on defense is a problem. This is the same man that single-handedly, if I'm not mistaken,
how many years ago?
In the finals, bro. Yeah,
this is when he was on the Cavs.
Hold on.
How many years ago?
Exactly.
Right now, Celtics
you say how many years ago?
Have defensive man of the year, Marcus Smart. They've got the X factor of the twin 7-foot twin towers in Williams and Al Horford. Al Horford's gonna be ready. This guy, his first NBA Finals. Listen, this guy had the record for the most NBA playoff games without an NBA Finals. He's ready. He finally got there, and now he's ready.
Don't ask me what horse placenta Al
OKC
Horford
legend,
is,
bro.
Don't ask me what horse placenta Al Horford has been eating, where he all of a sudden thinks that he can roll back the years and play like Al Horford that we.
That's why he re-signed.
Celtics. Look. Listen. In all honesty, right, it is going to be close in this series, but I just think Golden State have too much experience, too much know-how, and the 3-point shooting. Don't be wrong, everyone. Like, if I think there's two players there's players from each side that I think this series depends on. I think from the Golden State perspective, it depends on Klay. If they can get Klay to be the Klay that can get 25 to 30 points, I don't see what the Boston Celtics can do to stop Golden State Warriors unless Steph goes back to the old Steph who didn't turn up in the playoffs. But that's a different conversation. He doesn't look like he's going to do that. I think for the Celtics, the key player for them is Al Horford. I think if they can get Al Horford playing anywhere near how he's been playing, especially I think in the series against the Bucks, I think that causes Golden State a problem because you've got Draymond and Wiseman's out. Who's the other one? Kay? Who's the other big that they've got?
Got Looney.
Looney, yeah. And I don't think Looney can defend Al Horford if Al Horford just says, you know what, I just feel like going out on the perimeter and pulling up from free. So I think that those two players from each team are the keys to the other one winning. I think if you can stop those two players, I think you have a massive shot for each team and getting through and winning the chip. When I look at it, Steph is in the playoffs right now, averaging 26, 6, and 5. I think Jason Tatum's averaging 27, 6, and 7. So when you look at the stars right there, you know they're going to get their points. It's what the supporting cast can do. I think Jalen's averaging 23 points. Marcus Smart's averaging 15.5 points. I think Klay's averaging 20 points a game. And Andrew Wiggins, who I haven't mentioned, is averaging 15.8. And he's having a great series. So but when you look at those numbers, everything's close. There's no one that's pulled away and said, yep, I'm the top dog. So it's definitely going to be a team performance. What was you going to say about Andrew Wiggins?
No, I was just going to mention him about talent that we haven't mentioned. But yeah, all jokes aside, it is going to be a tough fought match. I think it will go 7 games. And I think for Celtics to win, it has to go 7 games. Yeah, everyone it's going to be hard fought. Everyone is leaning towards the Warriors, and I understand why with the experience and know-how as we've talked about home court advantage. So it makes sense to edge it in Celtics' favor, sorry, in Warriors' favor. But I don't know. I just feel like they're ready and it's their time, and they've got their. It's not even just like it's on a whim and a hope on fate and fantasy that oh we're ready, it's our time. They've got the talent to back it up to match it defensively and offensively. So I think they will give them a good run for their money. And so it's usually do okay against the Celtics overall in terms of like over the years. So I think they can do it, man. I just need Jaylen Brown to step up, give us more. He's done well, but this is now the final, so he needs to find something deeper, find that Mamba mentality that Tatum inspires him, and he needs to find something to inspire him. Smart needs to show us why he's that defensive man of the year, and as I said, man, everyone needs to come together. They've got other pieces in Williams, the other Williams, and White. They can give you good games as well. So I believe I think they can do it, man. They can do it.
There's no doubt they can do it.
Boston strong. Let's go.
I just don't think they will. I think that the experience of the Warriors is too much, and I think the pressure. You've got to remember, yeah, these guys have never.
I was going to say something. Let me say something after that.
These guys have never been to an NBA Finals before, so the pressure of that. You've also got the pressure of Boston Celtics as a franchise, right? Second in terms of winning titles and the history that the Boston Celtics have as well. So you've got all of that for these guys to take on their shoulders, right? And as great as Jason Tatum has been playing, as great as Jaylen Brown is, as defensively great as Marcus Smart is, right? They've never had to deal with anything like this before. And I don't know about Smart, but Tatum and Brown are still young. I think they're mid-20s. So they've still got a lot of learning to do when it comes to the NBA, and especially in the finals. So I just think that all of that combined with what Golden State can do, because remember, we know this, bruv. Golden State can be 6-7 points behind, and then we know about Golden State in the third quarter. They can blow you away in that third quarter, and all of a sudden they're up by 10 and 15 points, and the game's done. And I just think that if the Golden State were to go up like that, I can't see the Celtics come. I just think it's going to be too much for them. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, these are all valid points, and I definitely agree with them. But to the pressure thing and to the first time in the finals thing, I think in the conference finals against the Heat, Celtics have showed that they can step up and rise to the challenge. Because they, again, I don't think they won one game at home, but they won every game on the Heat's ground, on the Heat, I say ground, on the Heat's court. And every time they lost a game, they always found something and made the right adjustments and won the next game. And I think that shows level of character. It shows a level of a drive and fight that you can make the right adjustments and sort of like get locked in. So I think even though it will be their first time in the finals, it's basketball. Nothing's changed. The fundamentals are the same. It's the same shooting motions. It's the same plays. You've just got to execute. And the fans, yep, they will get onto them. But at the same time, they want to see their team win. So the atmosphere is going to be crazy, and hopefully they can feed off that. So obviously they will. First game is at Golden State, but when when it comes back to the TD Garden, the fans are going to be ready to cheer them on to wherever they need, and especially if they come back 1-1, that's all they need. They just need one game. They just need one game.
No, I don't disagree with you.
At the first two, that's what I mean by one game.
The problem with that is, as I said, we know they match up well. I think in the regular season, I think it's one apiece, both won on home court. Golden State haven't lost home court in the playoffs this season. So for Boston Celtics to take something, it's going to be some hard damn work for them to take something away from Golden State on home court.
Strong.
And
Boston strong.
I don't see it happening. Obviously, you said 7 games for the Boston Celtics. I think it goes 6. I think that Golden State win it in 6. I think they win the first 2 at home. I think Celtics.
If they go 2-0 down, it's gonna be hard to see them come back. I'll even have to concede. Yeah, I'll be this close to conceding.
I think barring any injuries, I think Golden State take the first 2 at home. I think the Celtics will win game 3. I think that what's it name? I think Celtics will win game 3 and 4. I think it will be 2-2. And I think the return one at Golden State will go 3-2. And then that 6th game at Boston Celtics, I think the Warriors say, yeah, you guys are good. You gave us a good run, but little man, sit down. So, Mr. K, for you, who is going to be the key player for this series? Who is going to be that player that takes their team to the top? Obviously, you're backing the Boston Celtics. So I'm asking you directly, who is going to be that guy for the Boston Celtics that takes them to the promised land and, as you say, wins this series in 7 games?
It's Tatum. As he's the leader of the team. He's the best player on the team. So as the best player, you have to be the best player. You have to have the best stats. You have to get everyone involved. And if he does all those things, limits the turnovers, makes the right passes, does all the fundamentals right, helps out on defense, so it's going to win. But it can't be just him. They need Jaylen Brown to come along with the game, put in some superstar performances. He's a good player, but we need 1 or 2 great games, and that will help Celtics win. Smart needs to take better shots, makes better decisions as the point guard, make the right plays. We know Horford and Williams are going to do their best to lock it down on defense. Rebounds are going to matter because they're not going to be perfect on every shot. Rebounds gets you second chance points. So it stops the fast transitions that Warriors like to do. So Celtics, again, got the talent, just need to execute.
In your opinion, do the Boston Celtics need to work on the inside? Is it the inside where they're going to get the best joy against the Golden State Warriors? Are they going to attack the inside because obviously it is Draymond, it is just
Looney.
Looney. After that, there isn't much else. So is it a case of work on the inside, pound them on the inside, and then obviously if you get any free shots in the on the perimeter, you take them as well?
That will definitely work, but I think they just need to play their own game because they can win in different ways. So I think they need to utilize all their skills, even utilize the bench guys, Williams and White coming off the bench. They need to use their scoring and their shooting. So they've got the multifaceted sort of way of winning, and it is not just on the inside. That's one of the many ways.
I think that's where I feared Boston Celtics the most for the Golden State is the inside. As I said, they're not a big team. They're a small team. Obviously, 3-point shooting is their bread and butter. But I just think defensively, especially because we know Draymond can get in foul trouble. We know Draymond can get technicals. If he then gets taken out, they will be trying to wind him up. It's what LeBum did to get him ejected. And that's why the Cavs ended up winning that chip. Because if Draymond plays, the Cavs don't win that chip. So no doubt Golden State, like some Marcus Smart and them guys are going to be trying to get Draymond Green ejected. So I think pounding it inside is Golden State's biggest concern. But I just think with the way how Steph's playing right now, especially because Steph had that what's the word I'm looking for? It was said that Steph didn't turn up in the playoffs until last season when everyone was injured for Golden State. And he seems to have gotten past that. As I said, you bring in Clay, you bring in Jordan Poole, and all of a sudden, anyone can shoot from outside, and it causes a massive problem for the Boston Celtics. And I think that's where Golden State have to go. And obviously, we know the third quarter. Any third quarter there is, if Golden State are within 5-6 points of any team, they could take it over and all of a sudden go ahead 5-6 points. So there's many ways that these teams can win and lose. There's many ways that this NBA Finals can go. As I said, Mr. KA said 7 games. I've said 6. It's going to be a fantastic NBA Finals, and we are going to be here for it 100%. KA, quickly before we go, we need to talk and just touch on our boy very quickly, and that is Mr. James Harden. Right, before we go.
What did he do now? I've not heard his name since the finals, since they went out.
There has been talk about the Supermax and that he is getting it. There is also talk that he could be on the move again. Right? So I just wanted to get your opinion. If James Harden were to move again because he couldn't get his boy in through the back door to become coach, right? Where is the place that he would be looking to go ring chasing? Because that's essentially what he's doing right now.
I don't even know. Like I said, I haven't really been up to date on the Harden news. I can see him. He definitely needs someone to play with. So I don't think he needs to go to a big market. So he would be a good matchup for him. But then I thought you would get the same problem that you had at Nets. I think he always seemed to have the injury problems. I don't know if Bam is good enough to be the third guy. They'll need to go looking for someone. And with the 2 guards in Jimmy and James, then you need a center. So apologies, sorry. Itchy eye was on, but it'd be hard. I don't know. What teams are they suggesting that he go to?
Heat's being mentioned. That's the main one that's being mentioned. There is talk that he could the Clippers could be another one as well that he could go to.
I could see him in the Clippers
with PG and obviously Kawhi in that. That's being touted, but I think the main thing is that he is looking to stay at the Philadelphia 76ers, whether Doc's the coach or not. And I'm just like, if he does do that, then we're talking about super max deal for James Harden, which obviously you and I both know would be absolutely ridiculous considering the numbers that he's putting out right now and the performances that he's been putting in. But my question to you is, will James Harden ever get... I know you and I personally don't want to see him get the ring, but will he ever get the ring, irrespective if he stays with Philadelphia 76ers or he goes elsewhere?
To be honest, I think actually, funny enough, even though I think it hurts my guy MB's chances, I do think that actually Philadelphia right now might be the best situation for him. Actually,
so you would give him the supermax?
Probably have to be honest. I know, and the thing is, even it hurts actually that I kind of don't want to see him win. Well, I don't even want to say I don't want to see him win, but his attitude to game, man, I don't know if he's whatever deserving is, if he's a deserving player, because he's a very talented player. He's one of the best of this generation, and coming from the OKC origins and the school of OKC, school of hard knocks, everyone has a ring except for Russ and Harden. So I'll be happy if either one of them got rings, but Harden, he's kind of soured the waters, man.
Nah, 100%. Me personally, no supermax deal. Let that guy go to the G League where he belongs, bruv. That's what I say. Down to the G League or go to Europe or something. Like, honestly, like, this guy is gives a disservice to all the hardworking players in the NBA, bruv. Like, personally. But we'll see what happens with that, people. But people, that is it from us. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know what you think about Miami Heat. Who do they need? Did Jimmy Butler do enough? Did Jimmy Butler do enough? Does he need help? If so, who? Talking about Bradley Beal, could be James Harden joining the Miami. I really hope not. But those are the players being touted. Let us know what you think about Dallas Mavs. Does Luka need to go? Or does he need someone to join him? Could James Harden go to the Dallas Mavericks? Honestly, this guy. And let us know about NBA Finals. Who's going to be the key players? Who's going to win and why? How many games? You've seen Mr. KA. He's gotten it wrong so far, right? He has gotten it wrong so far.
I hope I'm wrong, and so he's winning 6. I hope I'm wrong. I'm saying 7, but I hope I'm wrong. I love it. I wouldn't even be too surprised if they won it in 6. But I'm saying
no chance. So there's no chance Celtics.
I said I wouldn't be surprised. I said I wouldn't be surprised.
Nah, no chance they're winning it in 6. But yeah, people, let us know what you think. And people, that is it from us as usual. Before we go, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Get the likes up, smash that like button. As I say all the time, share. We are here, and don't forget to join our social media pages as well. Links are in the description. I want to say thank you very much to my guy, Mr. KA. Thank you very much, sir.
No, it was a pleasure, man. Good chat.
Yeah, 100%. People coming up, I will be back tomorrow with ST for the chat that I don't really want to do, but we need to get it done. We'll be back United Talk. We'll be back again at some point. We need to wrap up the Champions League and to wrap up the rest of the season with play of the season and all that. Mr. KA, The Truth, and hopefully Jay will be back with you lot for Arsenal Talk. Arsenal fans only, I'm not involved. Fight Talk will be back next week. We'll be back on with 2. Obviously, all the other talks will be back. And obviously, NBA Talk will be back when the finals are over, once Golden State lift that trophy. But people, stay safe out there. Be safe. And we shall see you very, very soon.
Boston strong. Let's go.